So the first thing you're going to want to do is to cut out your template. Template looks like this. You'll notice it has a set of tabs along each edge. These are where the brackets go. On the forward end, there's about a 60 millimeter gap between the first two tabs, and then the other two gaps are about 40 millimeters apiece. That's forward. Alright, so this is the forward end towards the front of the airplane. One thing I really feel I need to emphasize is if you have not assembled the airplane yet, do this first. It makes life a lot easier. So the first thing you're going to want to do is measure from the joint between the forward part of the fuselage and the tail 50 millimeters and make a mark. And you're going to want to do this over the lower half of the fuselage. That is where your cut will start. When you've made that mark, you want to line your template up on the fuselage, making note that the center line aligns with this joint between the two halves of the tail. Tape it down, trace around it with a Sharpie or some other writing instrument that will mark on the airplane. Alright? So you should have an outline that looks like this when you're done on the bottom. When you make the cuts, you want to cut vertically into the fuselage, both where the tabs are and here. It's going to make installing the pallet a lot easier later on. Okay, so for this next part, I recommend either using a Dremel with the 90-degree attachment and a ball end mill. We're going to be cutting the relief for the brackets into the fuselage. So, and I'm hoping this is relatively clear, but what we're looking at here is this cut in here that will allow the end bracket to slip in here. And you'll need to do a little bit of trial and error to make sure that fits and that there's enough room for the Z-bend in the music wire when you attach that. So that's at the front end of the fuselage, and if you look at the rear end over here, you'll see that not only is there the relief for this, but you're going to have to cut a little, you're going to have to gouge a little piece out of this in order to make everything fit. It's going to be a lot of trial and error in order to get everything to fit right, but take your time, and the relief is the same on the other side.